I want to welcome you to 5 Minutes with KeRusso today. We're going to talk about the heart of Jesus, the heart of the Father, what ought to be the heart of a disciple. If you want to follow Jesus, you need to listen to what Jesus says in Matthew 18 about relationships. And he spends a good part of his time talking about relationships with children. Now, children are some of the most disposable people in our society, some of the most defenseless people in our society. Easy to diminish. Now, you can see that played out in this whole abortion arena, where basically what happens is a child is diminished to the point that it's not even human anymore, and it can be disposed of. The child doesn't matter, because what's ultimately important, the supreme importance, is what the woman gets the freedom to choose. We even had the president of our country recently say he doesn't believe that life begins at conception, human life. We have people who are arguing that even a child who is almost completely born can still be killed. And that's happened in this country. And we have places like Planned Parenthood that will abort children so they can harvest the organs, and they make money off harvesting the organs. It's a lot of terrible stuff that happens. So you can look at that and you can realize we've diminished children in this country tremendously, and that's been the way of the world. But that's not the only way. I mean, you can look at all kinds of places and see where children are diminished, where they're not important. You look in families where there's abuse. You look in neighborhoods of poverty. You look in wealthy homes where people work, and their children, their very own children, are handed off to somebody else to raise. I mean, there's so many examples of this. I'll tell you one that'll surprise you. You can look in churches and see where children are not important. A lot of churches. You can look, for instance, I don't know how many times I've been in a church where there's plea after plea after plea, week after week after week after week, about needing people who will attend a nursery or teach a children's Bible class. And it's shameful, it's embarrassing, it's horrible. I remember being in a church where the men realized, hey, we need to step up. This is not just women who need to step up for the children. The men need to step up for the children. And we took a while where we taught the classes for the children. I'm not sure we did as good as the women. I'm sure we didn't. I know I didn't. But at least we realized we need to step up. We need to accept responsibility here. These children are important. And that's what Jesus is going to say in Matthew 18 as he teaches his disciples. Look at verses 10 through 14. He'll say, look, children, they have angels. Every child has an angel who's before the Father. And those angels are speaking to the Father on behalf of those children. And he's going to hold accountable everybody who does not care for children, who hurts them, who causes them to stumble, who does harm to them. Because the Father does not want that happen to the children. And we need to hear Jesus say that. Then read what he says next. The teachings about a man having 100 sheep, and one of them wanders off, and he goes off to find that one in order to bring it back. And Jesus makes clear by saying, this is children, and my Father doesn't want one of them to be lost. And look at the effort that the Father was willing to go through to go get that lost child. That's the heart of the Father. That's the heart of Jesus. And we need to ask ourselves, what's our heart? Why aren't children more important to us? If we're going to follow Jesus, they have to be more important to us. They have to become more important to us. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking abortion or a children's nursery in a church or children who are enslaved in poverty or children who are being sex trafficked or whatever the issue is. When children are neglected and harmed, the Father sees it and he cares for those children. And he's going to hold accountable those who do not care for them, those who neglect them, those who diminish them, who treat them as disposable. There's a sad day of accounting coming for a lot of people. And if you and I want to be followers of Jesus, then we've got to step up and say children are important. Not just my child, but every child. Not just the children who are healthy, but even the ones who are mentally handicapped or physically handicapped, or the ones who are just have other issues that are difficult to deal with, they're still important. They're important to God. They need to be important to us. Hear the heart of Jesus. Hear the heart of the Father. Have that same heart. Followers of Jesus will do that. We have a lot of growing to do on this, and I encourage you to do this. Thank you for taking the time to hear this, and please pass this on to other people. Leave any comments. Send an email to me if you want at booksbycaruso@gmail.com. Next week, there'll be a couple other people who'll be talking to you about children, okay? And being humble like a child. Be blessed.